Recession-proof contracting. Who believes that this is a contradiction in words? Recession-proof contracting. How many of you guys think this is a contradiction? How many of you guys think this is actually possible? Cool. We're going to play around with this, and you guys are going to prove to yourselves that it's possible. I'm not going to prove it to you. What is a recession? We'll start with that question. Who thinks they know what a recession is? Come on. I know you guys watch like C-SPAN and CNN and...
Something that hinders your ability to buy essentials.
Okay.
Well, I've heard that it's changing, but it's one full quarter of less than the previous quarter.
Yeah, two.
Or is it two full quarters?
2 quarters of down.
Something like that.
Down what?
Downturn.
Down what? Oh!
GDP or something like that.
GDP. All right, we're getting a little warmer. Okay, here's a dictionary definition of a recession. Because you guys can't be using the R word if you don't even know what it is. Okay? So this is what it is. A period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP, which is gross domestic product, in 2 successive quarters. What does all that mumbo jumbo mean? That means, it means something, but just so you understand what it means, it is a drop in GDP, which is gross domestic product, which means it's actually costing you more to produce than you are selling, right? So it's a negative, technically, right? Now, you made a comment that it's changing. Yes, because people are playing around with the definitions that we've been using for a very long time. But just so you know, here's real numbers. Q2, Q3, Q4 of 2021, Q1, Q2, Q3 of 2022. All right, we said 2 quarters in the negative, right? Positive, positive, positive. Oh, 2 quarters in the negative. Here's Q3 of 2022. Are we in a recession?
No, we've already passed it.
By the strict definition of the term, we are not in a recession. That's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was him at first, and I was like, wait, that was good job. That was dramatic. I gotta do this more often. Coordinate with the shooters next door. So are we in a recession? No. Technically, no, we're not in a recession. But if you turn on the news or you read the newspaper, what do you hear every single day?
We're skewing the numbers because of politics.
It is politics, and you hear that we're in a recession. We're not in a recession, okay? Technically. All right, does anybody have any questions? So you understand what GDP is now, gross domestic product, right? Yes?
Whether we are or not, we have to recognize that people feel like they are.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But I want you to understand it first, because if you're going to be talking to other contractors and or homeowners, you want to be educated about what you're talking about, right? So if I'm talking to you about windows, you're going to be able to talk to me about windows or carpet care or things like that, right? But if the topic of a recession comes up, cool. You want to be able to have that conversation comfortably, right? Now, depending on who you ask or what you read, this could go any of a number of ways, but we're not going to go there. You guys clear on this, though? Q1 and Q2 of this year, yep, two consecutive quarters in a row, negative growth. And then, but here we are back in the positives Q3. What does the Fed keep doing to try and artificially slow down growth? Yes?
Upping interest rates.
Upping interest rates, right? And basically what they're upping is the rates that it costs to borrow from them, right? Which in turn trickles down to what banks charge each other to borrow money, and then trickles down to what banks charge us to borrow money, okay? So this whole thing centers around what? Money. Money, 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 money. Never change around money. Come on in, man. We're just getting rolling. You missed. I'll recap real quick so you don't miss the cool part of this. You can come a little closer. Don't worry. We don't bite. And I actually showered today. I mean, I don't know about these guys, but I showered today. So we're just talking about a recession real quick. All right. Let's see if anybody learned. Without looking at the definition, what is a recession?
GDP for 2 quarters.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah. 2 quarters of blah, blah, blah. Yes. 2 quarters of negative growth. Just remember that. 2 quarters of negative growth, okay? And are we currently in a recession? No. The numbers say no. Government says yes. Numbers say no.
No, the government says no. The numbers say yes, and then the government has skewed those numbers
Well,
to make it.
I'll let you, and I should have put the little, hey, this is where this came from. But you can Google this, right? What's the GDP? Just Google the GDP for the last 4 quarters, and it'll show you. Okay?
Is that based off like all product?
Yes. That GDP is always all products. Right? Now it affects different industries differently, right? Obviously we're in the contracting space, so we're going to talk about how it affects the contracting space. But it affects, auto loans, it affects the price of food, it affects all kinds of different things. All right. Worst recession in the US. The Great Depression. 8 years. Now, who knows what the unemployment rate was during the worst recession on record?
Was it 7%?
7%?
More than that. I don't know.
15? Brandon, what do you think? 6? The highest unemployment rate recorded during the Great Depression was 24.9%. And we're like, wow, that's a lot. It is. But if 24.9% of people are not working, what percent of people are? 75.1, right? So I want you guys to see the game that gets played with these numbers, right? You've heard me say multiple times, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. That's true. But men and women interpret the numbers the way that works best for them, right? Especially during political years. So the worst recession, 1929 to 1938, 24.9% unemployment rate. Do you guys know what the unemployment rate is right now? 3.5%. Again, we're in a recession. Remember that. Think about that, okay? Now, the U.S. has experienced 34 recessions since 1857. 34. The average length is from 2 months to more than 5 years. Average recession has lasted 17 months. 6 recessions since 1980 have lasted less than 10 months. So if we go back here, right, we say 10 months. 10 to 17 months. Okay, so if this is technically the start of a recession, when they're saying that this recession will last a certain period of time, what are they really basing that off of?
Averages in the past.
Averages in the past. That's all it is. Again, pay attention to what they're saying. Oh, through 2024, which gives us 2 years, which is 24 months. Or the middle of 2023, which is how many months? 16 months. Like, you guys see how they're playing with this, right? They're just playing with the average of the past. Does anybody know what's going to happen in the future? No. Now, the government tries to play around with that. Sure. But they don't know what's going to happen, right? So, 6... Yeah, but then they wouldn't get elected. It's all a game. It's all a game. Okay, so just remember this. Average recession has lasted 17 months, but since 1980, averaged less than 10 months. Even the great housing crash of 2008, how long did that last?
18 months.
Well, housing prices were low for a long time, but it was about 10 months. Now, it was a dramatic drop in 10 months, but that's what it was. It was bad because it went down quick. Yeah, went down quick and it took a long time to recover, right? But we're going to talk about all this, okay? Again, data so you guys can make informed decisions. Housing crash of 2008, 15 to 20% of housing jobs disappeared. That's a significant chunk. 1 in 5 housing jobs disappeared. 25% of home service businesses shut down. If you ask me, that's a hallelujah. Because you guys have been around long enough that you know that there's a lot of people in business that should not be in business. How many of you guys have gone to do a job that was a repair off of somebody else's job? You're doing it. All of you guys have done it, right? It's because they shouldn't be doing it in the first place, right? So, anyway, this is what's going to happen again is you're going to see a lot of these guys go out of business because they don't belong in business, and they're going to be looking for work. Maybe at McDonald's, maybe with you, who knows? Although McDonald's is paying pretty good right now. All right. Okay, so right now, real numbers right now, there's 11% drop in home sales, new home sales, 11% drop, okay? 2.7% drop in home prices. There's a recession. 2.7% drop in home prices. Okay, on a $500,000 home, how much is that? Not a lot. Are home builders still going to make a ton of money? Yes. Okay? But they don't understand this. There's a certain builder in town, because this is being recorded, they shall remain nameless. But I know after dealing with a couple of contractors who are subs for them, that they're choosing to go after the Walmart model, which is the cheapest thing we can put out the door. Okay? Literally, interior walls. Do you guys know by code what interior walls need to be on center? By code.
16 on center for the...
By code, minimum. 20 inches on center. So they're going to 20 inches on center. Because they're going to save $10,000 in lumber. A lot of the things that they used to include, they're now making optional. Because they want to appear cheaper. Okay? Again, Chicken Little, the sky's falling. We're in a recession. Okay? Rates are above 7%. You guys know that. What's the true inflation number? Anybody?
8 or something?
Who knows? Who knows? Because if you look at something like peanut butter's gone up like 22%. I like peanut butter, so I paid attention to that, right? Now, 22% is a lot, but if you're paying $4 for a jar of peanut butter, you know, it's like, oh, now it's $4.54. But it's gone up, right? But it depends on who you ask. They're like, oh, inflation isn't that much. 6%, I think, is the last true number that I heard, at least what they said the true number is. But we don't know. In other words, the price of everything's going up. Okay? Again, the price that it costs to manufacture something, right, versus what it is that we can make on it. Now, what does this all mean? Kevin? Means nothing. Thank you. It means absolutely nothing. Or it means absolutely everything. You can wake up in the morning, and if you, in your mind, truly believe that we're in a recession, how are you going to act and behave?
Be more conservative.
You're going to be more conservative. What else? Scared. Like, you're going to be like, hey, listen, normally we charge $100, but we're in a recession, so I'm going to charge you $72. And they're like, oh, that's so awesome. That's so nice of you. And then you walk away and you're like, wait a minute. I don't actually make money at $72. What did I just do? Right? But because you're scared and you think that you need the job, because you believe that there's a recession and that there's no money out there, you're going to go and make stupid decisions. Okay? Should we be making stupid decisions first off? No. Look at the data. The data doesn't tell you that we're in a recession. How many homes last year were sold for cash? That's a very scientific number. Thank you, Kevin. What percentage? What do you guys think?
Percentage-wise, I'd say probably 60%.
Not that high, but I like your enthusiasm.
A lot.
32% of homes last year were sold to cash buyers. 32%.
People selling in California and buying here.
Oddly enough, Washington and Oregon have more people moving here than California does. But we sure like to pick on California, don't we? Again, it's the data, right? So are people still buying homes, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, they are, okay? The question is, where and how are they buying homes, okay? Now, most of you guys are not in the new home market necessarily, but you work with some builders. So you need to understand this, okay? A lot of you guys are in the remodel space. What happens when new home sales come down? Remodels go up. Why? Because people are staying in their house, right? Like, I'm one of those weird people that every couple of years I have to have a new car. It makes zero sense. Trust me, my wife has tried to explain it to me, tried to beat me over the head with a 2x4 and say, don't do it, and it just happens anyway. It's like a drug for me. I'm addicted, right? But a lot of people are like that. It's easier to go buy a new house than it is to remodel a house because you got to live in it and it takes time and you got to deal with contractors and da-da-da-da-da, right? But when rates are above 7%, it's cheaper for them to do what?
Fix up what they got.
To fix up what they got, right?
Isn't there 3% interest rate on them?
Exactly. So are jobs going to be going away? No, especially in the resale market. Okay? New home markets aren't going away either. They're slowing down like they should. But the retail market or resale market is not going away, which means what? Opportunity, right? So you can look at this one of two ways. We can go through all the numbers, talk about a recession, a true recession, the fact that our GDP is actually positive, not negative, so technically we're not in a recession anymore. The understanding that we have no idea what true inflation is, but people keep spending money, but a third of people are buying homes in cash. Like, there's money out there, and there's people who want to get work done. So what's the only question we truly need to answer?
Where's those people?
How do we connect with those people? That's the question we need to answer because they're out there, okay? So we're going to talk about 4 different things to foolproof or recession-proof your business. Sound fair?
Sounds good.
Okay, so the first thing, educate. Are you educated? Now, most of these people are watching CNN, maybe ESPN, Fox News, CNBC, whatever other acronym of news show that's out there. And so in their minds, what do they believe? There's a recession. In their minds, what do they believe? We're going to go to war with Russia. In their minds, what are they going to believe? Whatever the hell the news tells them. Okay? They're going to believe that. So when you show up at their door, what do they already have inside of their mind?
Shouldn't do this.
This is not a good time to do this. This is way too much money. I don't really want this, need this, want this. I'm so confused, right? And because they're confused, does it confuse mind buy? No. Think about you. Like, will you ever buy something that you're confused about? Other than a timeshare. Like, let's just be real. Three-quarters of...
Timeshare?
No, we
Is that why
didn't.
we're talking
No,
about this?
no, but like, they were like hawks.
Yeah.
We were staying at the Hyatt Regency, this beautiful hotel, but like, literally right next door was the Hyatt timeshare. And to get to our room, we had to walk through the gauntlet. And they were all like, nah, 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 nah. And we're like, quick, hide. Yeah. No. I would not have hired any of those, right? But we have to educate them, right? We have to educate them on why doing business with us is what? Smart is a good decision, okay? Now, consumers don't know unless you tell them. Your job as a contractor is to do what? Educate first. You will never get the sale if you're trying to sell to an uneducated buyer, period. Because if they're educated, they can make an informed decision, right? And how many buyers have you had who are well educated that you had to fight with to try and get the sale? Not a lot, because if they're educated and they know that it's something that they need, I saw your eyes roll a little bit.
There's a few that are the Google
Right,
educators.
but those are not, that is not the right educated. That's Google educated. That's a difference. I read it on Google. Does that make it true? No, but I read it on Google.
Well, you'd be surprised to see like how many times I go into these estimates and they're like, yeah, we had like 3 contractors here that had no idea like how to explain it to us.
Yeah,
And that it's common. You know, I had one guy that owns a construction company. He owns a huge company out of Washington, and he was interviewing people and didn't tell anybody. And then I came through and I explained it to him, and he's like, "You're the first contractor. You interviewed 21 contractors, and none of them could explain how to do the job."
wow.
And it's just because you got guys out there doing it. They're a bunch of fucking yahoos doing because they're thinking they can do it.
Yeah,
And he hired me because I knew what I was doing. By like 21 guys, and he's a huge contractor. I had no idea, but he just didn't want to do the work on his own house.
yeah, exactly.
And so.
Like, there's money and there's people out there. Like, I've had conversations with all you guys, so I know you're educated. But the question is are you translating that education into the prospective buyer, right? Every time you come into contact with me, my initial focus with each of you is to educate you, to give you something of value that will make you better just because we had that interaction, okay? The truth is, and you guys know this, whatever jobs that you're bidding, they're going to get multiple bids. Just the way it is. But if you can position yourself in a way where, first of all, you know what you're talking about, which all of you should. If you don't, shame on you. But if you can position yourself in a way that you know what you're talking about and you can share that information openly, because the truth is you can Google it. Yeah. What kind of shingles do I need on my roof? I don't know. Google it, right? Yeah. Yeah. But again, they're going to have information inside their head. That doesn't mean they're educated. Your job is to take that information and craft it into something that's educated. Okay? If you can do that, what's the likelihood of you getting the job? It goes way through the roof. Like, you're pretty good at educating as well. Okay? And the more you educate, the more jobs you get. Right? Same thing with you guys. Every single one of you, whatever your trade is, it doesn't matter. If you can educate them, the likelihood of you getting a job goes through the roof. What matters to you might not matter to them. Go ahead,
True.
Julie.
True.
You're like, this underlayment will last you 30 years. And they're like, I don't care. Because they don't care. But what do they care about?
Whatever they care about.
Whatever they care about.
Yeah.
But if you...
You have to ask them.
Hey, hallelujah. Thank you. You have to ask them, right? Because if you don't ask them, you truly don't know. Because each person, it might be something different. For some people, it might be value. For some people, it might be quality. For some people, it might be a combination of it. For some people, it might be like, hey, listen, how quick can you get this done? I don't know what it is. Ask. They will tell you. Jay, who most of you guys have met, if you guys were here this last week and you heard him say this, like, ask a question and then shut your mouth. Yeah. They will eventually tell you what it is that you want to hear. Right? Joe can back me up on this. What's your close? What is a 5-question close?
5 questions.
Joe's got it, and we'll get back to him here in a second. But there's literally, he can close people in 5 questions. Not 5 telling them something, but 5 questions. If you guys don't know who Joe is, I'll introduce him here in a minute. He's not just a random guy who walked in. He's like, hey guys, I'm Joe. Who let that guy in? All right. So ultimately, your job is to give them what they want. Right? Now, through education and asking them questions, you can craft your quote-unquote offer, your solution to their problem. But your general solution is generally not going to solve their problem. Does that make sense? Like, cool, you guys do windows and doors. That's awesome. See what I mean? Like, it doesn't solve the problem. But if you can get very specific on what their problem is with windows and or doors and how your solution can help solve that, when can you start? All right, so by a show of hands, do your clients know the difference between the products you use and your competitors? How many say yes? Raise them high. 2 of you. So the rest of you is no. Whose fault is that? It's yours.
We got you, Damon. Don't worry.
Not a bad thing, though. Not a bad thing, though, because it's an opportunity. Okay. What is it your clients value more than anything? How many of you guys can answer this question? 3? Maybe 4? Kind of?
I'm going to say yes.
Close to half of you. You guys, I would expect so, right? If they can't, or if you can't answer this question, it's a missed opportunity. So if you're wondering why you're not closing more deals, this might be a big reason why. This is what you call a clue. You know, when I was a police officer, we'd look for clues. This is a clue. And then when's the last time that you asked your clients why they purchased from you or what their experience was like? Nobody? A couple of you guys, right? Yeah. So again, it's a 2-sided question, but this is what you should be asking. Why? Because this is material you get to use the next time that you present whatever it is that you're selling, your product or service, to a new person. Hey, what's important to you? A, B, or C? B, awesome. You know what? I was just at John's house, and John said the exact same thing, and this is what we were able to do for him. Check it out. Would that make selling a little easier? Slightly, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, next section, evaluate. If you can't become more efficient, you won't win, period. Has the economy changed? Yes. Are we in a recession? Open for debate. But the economy has changed. it is a fact that things are more expensive. It is a fact that people, at least their perception of things, is that they can't afford it, right? Which means you have to be realistic. You have to become more efficient at the way you do things. Now, what are some ways to become more efficient? What do you think, Ryan?
Oh, I mean, lean and mean, like back end stuff, admin type stuff.
Admin? Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
You know, planning your routes so that you're not bouncing all over the valley. Like, you know, planning your routes a little differently so that you're.
How many of you guys find yourself doing that? Driving all over God's green earth. Somebody did that today. I know Brandon's good at that too. Kevin, and you guys all have those like really fuel efficient trucks too.
It gets 8.5 miles. It's good.
It's good. It's good.
Turn it off when I'm driving.
8.5 miles, right? 72% of contractors are inefficient,
And that's only because you have 28% live.
right? They're inefficient, meaning that they're doing things either that somebody else is doing at the same time or that they shouldn't be doing, right? Now, with some of you guys, we've had conversations around this, how to make it more efficient. So here's the first thing that you need to do. Clean up your act, right? This is how you do things. The biggest thing that you have control over is your time, T-I-M-E. And you control it 100%. The coolest part about being in Hawaii, sure, the beach and the waves. And swimming with the turtles. Oh, they didn't hate it when I was tipping them, let me tell you. I know how to play the game, man. I'll tip you well from the beginning, and I guarantee you'll love me. Anyway, but the best part was not having to get on the phone or on a Zoom and have a conversation with people. In other words, I was on vacation. When's the last time you guys took a vacation where your phone was off? Crickets, crickets.
Last Thanksgiving.
It's been a minute. We went with another couple, and poor Nick has not been on true vacation. He's gone out of town, but he hasn't been on true vacation for like 12 years.
Did he fall apart?
Dude, he was like so tense the first day, but by the third day, he was just like, hey man. Yeah, he's like, I don't think we have to go back. Do we really have to go back? I'm like, no, we don't. But time management, right? This is the biggest thing for you guys. How many of you guys wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is check emails, answer phone calls, return text messages? There's a few of you, come on, be honest. Not anymore, yeah. We got a crew we've been working with, right? But if you're able to manage your time properly, then all of a sudden it's like being outside the matrix, right? All of a sudden, wait a minute. I don't actually have to go to that job right now because it makes sense to go this afternoon. I can actually do this right now. Oh, wait, my kid has a game? I can control that. I can actually go to the game. Like my son's doing wrestling this year. I'm super excited. Hope he doesn't do what I did. I actually shattered my elbow wrestling. So we're not hoping for that. But I'm excited because I get to go watch him wrestle, right? That's super fun for me. So as much as I love you guys, that's going to take priority. And if that means I have to move things around, I'm going to move things around because that's what matters the most to me, okay? But again, control your time. The second piece, make your people more efficient. Most of you guys have employees. Cool. How do you make them more efficient? The first thing is reduce repetitive tasks. How many of you guys have anything to do with like inventory or ordering things? Even though you probably have somebody else that does something along the same lines. To laugh. That's funny, right? But it's true, right? Some of you guys have tried to push ordering or materials onto somebody else, except you're still knee deep in it, which means you're both doing it, which means you're inefficient, okay? The second thing, embrace technology. I have a client from Arizona, they're contractors, remodeling contractors. And when we first sat down, I was like, hey, do you guys know what a P&L is? They're like, oh yeah, we know what a P&L is, profit and loss statement. I'm like, awesome, show me your P&L. They're like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, seriously. So this guy reaches into his backpack, pulls out a 3-ring binder, throws it on the desk. Green cover, and in black marker it said P&L. He was literally keeping track of his numbers on lined paper. Is that efficient? No. It is anything but efficient, okay? So you guys have to learn to embrace technology, especially now. Whether that's a CRM, how many of you guys know what a CRM is? How many of you guys use a CRM? You should all be using a CRM, right? Customer relationship manager or management system, right? In other words, who have you or are you doing jobs for? Who could you be doing jobs for? And how are you following up with them? How many of you guys know what your customer lifetime value is? Raise your hand.
In some of my
In
areas,
some of the areas, right? Joe, what is lifetime value?
Lifetime value? How much a client spends with you during the life of their time in the business with you.
How many of you guys think that like it's one and done for you and your clients? Be honest. Like you do one roof and you're done. You do one paint job and you're done.
I mean, sometimes it's a longer period. If we do it right, it should be a longer period of time before we talk to them again
So
with
if I
hopes,
was
but
nice.
it's not that I don't want to see them again.
Right.
It's just that
But all that-
sometimes they do call me.
Well,
probably.
if they call you for a roof, but if you position yourself right, which is some of the stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute, they should be calling you regularly because you are a source for solutions to problems that they have. Knowledge. Does that make sense? So,
The average person buys a house every 5 years anyway.
yeah. Well, in a hot market, they're buying every 2 to 3. So how many realtors do you know that are selling houses and there's jobs that need to be done on the roofs, right? It's like we go down that rabbit hole. The point is like the CRM helps you manage your people, stay top of mind, right? And then increase their lifetime value. Okay? So what can you offer them above and beyond what you normally might offer them? Because a roof, if done right, how often are you going to do a roof?
20, 30.
At least 20 years. At least 20 years. Unless there's some crazy wind, hail, storm, something that comes through, right?
Never, and they won't, people don't own their homes for that long.
Right.
So
Right.
I will never see that customer on that roof again, most likely. If
Right.
everything was done right.
If
But,
it was
I
done
mean,
right.
Yeah, it's nice to see them on other things.
Right. And you could see them on other things.
There's a lady that gives me daffodils out of her garden. and I
That's
love
nice.
that.
That's nice. Now we have to turn daffodils into something more than smelly flowers, right?
I'll take that.
Cash, right? So again, separate conversation. We'll talk more about that. But embrace technology that allows you to be like, instead of, I talked to somebody last week at the gas station. I think I wrote it down on this piece of paper that might be stuffed between the seats. I'm not really sure. Did I put it in my phone? No, I didn't. And then, hey, look, the phone rang and you're off to the next thing, right? That's an opportunity missed. So start to embrace technology, taking advantage of the fact that it can make your job easier. Just like I told you guys at the beginning, you guys saw a QR code. Cool. From here on out, you guys are going to get these automated messages from me. It's going to be super fun. Joe's really good at doing this every time he has his events, right? What does Joe send out? Text messages and emails. I love it because it reminds me that I need to pay attention to it. Again, we have an attention span of how long right now?
10 seconds.
Less. It's like 7 seconds. 7 seconds, and then you're on to the next thing. Like, you need to constantly be reminded. You get mad at your kids, you know, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. We're the same way, or worse. Okay, and then you need to make your processes more efficient, right? Your job management, your supply management. How many of you guys schedule out your jobs based off your subs or the other people that you work with? Versus you're the one in charge of the schedule. You look at me confused.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to figure out the difference because we use subs and employees, and owning that schedule, I guess, is.
Yeah, a lot of you guys have a hybrid schedule, right? So how do you guys schedule the jobs? Who is the one that ultimately controls this? Do your subs and or your employees know that you're the source for scheduling? Or is it the other way around? Are you guys always like, hey, Brandon, do you think you can make it out this week and get the landscaping done? And Brandon's like, no, man, I'm booked out 2 weeks. You're like, oh, all right. I guess we'll call you back next week. Like, you have to own it, right? But how many do you actually own it, right? You need to have a schedule for your jobs. It's not just whenever, okay? Because whenever means you're going to bounce around 15 different places and you're going to start missing stuff. Inefficient, right? Supply management. How many times prior to you getting your shit together were you out running to the supply shop or making phone calls or sending your guys to the supply shop?
All day, every day.
All day, every day, right?
Not so much.
Waste of time, waste of money, waste of resources. Okay, you guys should be able to schedule this stuff ahead of time. I love the fact that you're able to ingeniously pull 3 pallets of stone off your trailer, right? But what if you couldn't? What if you didn't have a tote trailer, right? It's understanding, again, these 2 things, calling up ahead of time. Hey, do we have a lift on site? Hey, do we have a pallet jack? Hey, do we have a forklift? What do we have on site that I can use? Okay, I don't. Okay, what do I need to do to make this thing happen, right? Think about these things ahead of time. So again, 3 things. You, your people, and your processes. All right. What's the one thing you can do to make yourself more efficient right now? One thing. Write it down. The one thing you can do to make yourself more efficient right now. That's a very broad stroke of the paintbrush. It's something you might write in a journal and never come back to. Get very specific, right? Again, just like shooting a gun, specific and measurable. One thing you can do to make yourself more efficient. It could be, I'm going to spend 15 minutes every morning just getting my day figured out. It could be, hey, I'm going to spend an hour every Sunday night getting my week scheduled out. It could be, I'm going to start having Monday morning meetings with my team so that everybody knows what's happening, when and how it's happening. But what's the one thing to make yourself more efficient? What's the one thing you can do to make your people more efficient? Is it taking control of inventory? Taking control of scheduling? Is it having your people check your equipment before they go out and saying, hey, this trimmer, it's out of gas, or we need more string wire, whatever the damn thing's called. Like, how do we make this more efficient, right? Hey, we should probably have some of this stuff in inventory so that these guys know if they're low, if they're out, they can just come grab it versus, hey, we got to make another run to Home Depot. That's going to burn an hour out of our day. And then what's the one thing you can do to make your jobs more efficient? If you notice, those 3 things are things that you control. Tyler, one thing you can do to make yourself more efficient.
Still working on staying ahead of ordering material. Even follow-up phone calls to make sure things are ready for us before we get there.
2 very important words. Kevin?
Manage my calendar to the hour, so have every hour accounted for in the day. Otherwise, 1 hour turns into 3 hours of relaxation.
Mm-hmm. Or watching Space Cat videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm not here to judge. Oh, sorry, Joe. You just lost him. Jeremy, what about you?
For me, it really kind of goes back to the first 2, or the second and third question, right? It's just making sure that I've got things really scheduled out.
Yeah.
And so it's managing my calendar.
Yeah.
My biggest thing I fight with is schedule. And then it's hard, right? Because the next day, something will happen today that's going to affect tomorrow, that affects the schedule tomorrow. And so it's that communication, making sure everyone knows, like today, I had a shit day. And so tomorrow's not anywhere where it should be. And so it's communicating that before we actually get there.
There you go. Like, these 2 things right here are exactly what you should be focused on every day. And we can always do a better job, right? Staying ahead and managing your calendar. You're going to wake up on Monday morning and you're going to be like, cool, this is what's going to happen this week. And then Murphy has a way of showing up, right? And being like, hey, and you know how you wanted that to happen? Well, first of all, it's going to rain, so you're not going to be on schedule. Second of all, the temperature is going to drop 20 degrees. And third of all, 2 of your guys aren't going to show up. And then you're like, okay, now what, right? But now what is why you get paid to make the big bucks, right? You're the owner. You control these things. So how do you stay ahead and how do you manage your calendar? Things are going to shift and move around, but ultimately, who's in control? You are, if you choose to be, right? So this is always a choice. At any time during the day, week, month, anytime, you can stop and say, okay, what needs to happen right now? And just focus on that thing, right? You can do that. You have that control. Or you could just keep answering phone calls, emails, and angry clients and frustrated employees all day long, right? Or you could take a few minutes and say, hey, listen, it's raining out. Let's just regroup. Okay, this is what we needed to get done this week. What do we need to move around, change, shift? Okay, everybody on the same page, ready, break. Okay? It's the same thing that every sports team does. Every quarter or every half, what do? They recalibrate, they get together. They're like, hey, this is working, this is not working. We should do more of this and less of this. Everybody understand the role they're playing? Okay, good, let's go. So if they do it, they get paid millions of dollars. Shouldn't we be doing it? All right, the third piece, elevate. Make your product or service better, right? Resist the tendency to make it cheaper. Resist the tendency to make it cheaper. I had a mentor one time that gave me this really powerful line that I've used not as often as I should. But the line is really powerful because he said, if I charged you less, would you trust me more? If I charged you less, would you trust me more? What's the answer to that? Hell no. Hell no, right? So why is it that we constantly go down this path? Because we don't understand it. We think that cheaper is better. Thank you, China and Walmart, right?
So that's the objective. That's to overcome the objection to, can you give me a break, or could the other guy's going to charge me less?
Yeah.
So you use that line to overcome that objective.
100%.
Yeah, I like that.
100%, right? And you have to own it and be confident in the fact that, no, you're not the cheapest, but there's a reason you're not the cheapest. Because you don't use the same materials, right? Because you pay more attention to detail. Because your finished product is better, right? And on and on and on. If you can't differentiate yourself from the market.
Well, you wouldn't be asking me for a discount if I was the same as the other guy. Because obviously you want to work with me. You just have to figure out why it makes sense to pay more.
Yeah, 100%.
That's true, that's a great point, Kevin. If they're asking you to go less, it's because they like you better than the other guy.
That's right. Yeah.
You're wanting to do
We're not equal at that point.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
That's a good one.
So it's your job then to help them see why, right? So it's not a price objection at that point. What is it?
Perception.
It's a perception of value, but there's something that they still haven't been able to connect, right? Price is only objective, or only becomes an object in the absence of value, okay? How many of you guys have paid more than $50,000 for a vehicle? Why?
Because I liked it.
Because you liked it. Same reason I paid more than $50,000 for my vehicle, because I liked it, right? And so I'm trying to justify it in my mind, but that last final piece has to be the salesperson bridging that gap. That's your job, bridge the gap. They wouldn't be calling you if they weren't looking to spend money. Cool, so help them spend money. What does Grant Cardone say? It's your responsibility. Like your responsibility, you're doing them a disservice by not selling them. Because they're going to go with the cheaper guy, and in the end, they're going to spend more money because they're going to have to do it again. But are you confident enough in your quality of work to be able to say that? Offer more of what the market wants, right? So you want to make that experience second to none. And we've talked a little bit about this before, but what is it that your end client wants, right? They want surety, they want peace of mind. So what are some pieces or some things that you can give them outside of a new roof, a clean carpet, a fresh coat of paint that would help them feel good inside, right? That would make the experience second to none. How many of you guys offer a warranty on your work? Most of you? Good. But what is that warranty?
Peace.
Assurance.
Well, no, what is your warranty?
10-year workmanship warranty. And then if they purchase for a small amount more, they get the 50-year manufacturer warranty in addition.
There you go. That's a perfect upsell. That's why I paid for a 5-year warranty on my wife's car, because I didn't want to deal with it.
We have a 1-year warranty standard with the opportunity to purchase into a called Limelight membership program where they get an extra year plus non-taxable on half of it. So it's like joining our club, take care of them.
Cool. There's no like one answer to this, right? But like, what's the thing that's going to make them feel warm and fuzzy on the inside? I don't know. Figure out what they want and then give it to them. CBH Homes. We love CBH, right? Well, we say that though, and yet they continue to sell. It is what it is. Now, here's what CBH did in 2017, mind you. 2017, they started a truss and floor joist maker called Vertical Components and an HVAC supplier called Icon Air.
Yep.
Both owned by CBH. Why did they do that?
Control their schedule, control their budget, they control their supply, they control more control.
They're building homes. Are they going to need truss and floor joists?
Yep.
They're building homes. Are they going to need
And
HVAC?
to their credit, the truss and floor joists is oftentimes are the biggest bottleneck in building new construction because everyone wants them. My biggest slowdown on my trusses for all my projects, 100%.
Right? So now they started these two companies, which allows them to control what? Price and schedule. Right? So I'm not saying you guys need to go out and buy your suppliers or start a manufacturing company, but I want you to see is what can you do that in the end will make your customer feel warm and fuzzy inside. Hey, listen, we control everything from the footings in the ground to the shingles on the roof. That's going to make me feel warm and fuzzy, right? What is it that you can offer that'll make them feel warm and fuzzy? All right. There's the question that I just asked, but let's answer it. What's one thing you can do to make your customer experience better? If you guys have come to Contractor Night before, we talked about the customer care cycle. And the fact is that once you have a customer, they should be a customer for life, right? But what's one thing you can do right now to make your customer experience better? It is a handwritten thank you note. Is it a Starbucks gift card? Is it a free 1-year warranty? What is the thing that you can do that would make your customer experience better? Buy him a gun. Bang, bang. All right, what's one thing you can offer to make your product or service better?
I'm already doing it, but I'm on, oh, sorry. I thought you wanted to speak up.
Don't say sorry. And we're going to get to that. Yes, Kevin knows about the burpees. That's what I do to add value in here. I make you stronger, physically and mentally. Sorry, burpees. All right, so who wants to share? What's one thing that you can do to make your customer experience better? Real quick. Brendan.
So I started this year implementing it about halfway through the year, giving my customers a job conclusion packet. So I have like the line cards and warranty information for the products at their house. So whatever valves I use or timers, I put all the product information in with all of our warranties and stuff like that. And then I also hooked up with this charity that makes these little planter boxes, and I do that, branded my logo, and give them a couple like herb plants in there. And so at the end of every job, they get plants in a packet.
There you go. Make them feel warm and fuzzy, right? On two different levels. Number one, it's like, oh, the stuff you did has a warranty. That makes me feel good, right? And then something special above and beyond. Love it. Kevin does the lime pie, key lime pie, which he still hasn't brought any for us.
You haven't paid me to do service.
This is true. All right, I'll bring a lime pie for you next time. Good point.
Got you there.
Good point. Good point. Good point. All right, Jones Brothers, you guys are talking about something. What do you got on your mind?
Oh, it's stealing from Jared.
You're not stealing. It's a good idea.
All
Use
the
it.
artists steal. It's, we gotta call it what it is, right?
offering a free 1-year warranty and a free 1-year refresh, going back, caulking, paint, things like that. Jeremy says he gets a lot of repeat work through doing that, and it doesn't take nothing but a couple hours.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that, sometimes like 15 minutes, I go through, I walk through the project, we do all recalking on everything, we do it all after 1 year.
Yeah, and that's cool. There's a lot of home builders that do that, although they're pretty crappy about doing it. But like new home builds, especially in Arizona, I don't know if they do it here.
What?
They only do it if you call them and you need a warranty.
Yeah. Now in Arizona, like they'll show up just because that stucco cracks all the damn time. So, yeah. Again, I love the way you guys are thinking and talking about it, right? Like, what can we offer that makes that customer experience better, right? And then next one, what's one thing you can offer to make your product or service better? Tyler,
What's up?
what do you got?
No, I was just thinking that I can go back through even with plumbing. Is you can offer them and they might want to upgrade to a better water filter or softener or go to from a gas 50-gallon water heater to a tankless water heater or something different.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, give them options, right? We as humans, we love options,
Yeah.
right? Do you want the pink or the red or the blue or the this, or do you want that or that, right? A lot of people, yeah, people now, even today, they don't understand the difference between a tankless and a regular water heater. Cool. You can offer them the difference between the two, right?
I'm even working with my new customers that I'm going to radiant flooring,
Mm.
and I'm gonna put in a package of, hey, per square footage, this is gonna cost you for the master bath. Like, we can add radiant flooring. Do a lot of people want it? No, but it's an option. I was talking to a builder the other day that he does a whole slideshow, and they have options just like picking a car. And he's like, I swear they will put in $200,000 extra because they see an option when they click it. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You guys should be, if you don't already, you should at least have a good, better, best option. Like, people love options. Let them tell you what they want. They know they need a roof. Cool. Which one do you want? This one, or this one? You tell me. Like, they're selling themselves. Well, I really want that one. Okay. Well, why do you want that one? Well, because this, that, and the other. Okay. So what's more important to you? The money that you're going to save now, or the money it's going to cost you in the long run because it's not going to last as long as. You make the choice, right? Have them sell themselves. All right, last piece, exchange. Getting access through collaboration, right? What are you willing to pay for referral? Funny, we've talked about this for a long time, and I'm glad you guys actually did this. So Ryan with Bluebird and Kevin, we'll pass this out. They just came up with this little promotion. So tell me about the promotion, Ryan.
So, Kevin is great at sales, and when he goes and sells his client on a interior paint, probably most of the time interior paint, then one of the things that he does is he's going to give them a gift card that allows us to come in there afterwards and do a post-construction clean type thing. And he can offer that at the front end. We can come in at the back end and
And what's the benefit for you to doing
get
it?
access to his clients.
You get access to his clients. Sure, you're giving him a discount, but you get access to his clients.
Right.
Because what you're really after, I know that was a good laugh, not a bad laugh. What?
Making fun of him.
Yeah. So what that gets you access to is now an entire client base that you didn't have access to before. Right? So when we talk about collaboration, this is what collaboration is about. Sure, you can offer somebody as a part of your package, right? So a lot of remodelers that I work with, what do I tell you to do? Add cleaners, right? Add an interior designer, add something else to your package to make it that much more sexy, that much more appealing. But what if you had a referral program? What were you talking about doing with Ammon? Ammon's 16, by the way. We'll have everybody introduce themselves here in a minute. He's 16, he's got 2 trucks, and how many guys you got working for you?
I have 2 guys working, but one works 2 days out of the week, the other works about 4 to 5.
At 16.
Young hustler.
Yeah, right? But what are you going to do with Ammon?
Referral program. We're using our list of about 2,000 people in my, CRM the people that we've done work for in the past that love us, and we do a text blast. And we're gonna text blast this month for, hey, everybody meet Ammon, who's our holiday lighting expert, and let him come give you a bid. So Ammon's gonna pay me for the referral, the bid, the referrals, and then he'll get the jobs off of those. But just another partnership.
Make it a win-win. Make it a win-win, right?
Using our network, our people, and he gets access to 2,000 people.
It
Okay.
still makes him better because you're solving more problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we become the hub that he's talking about, that people just call Ryan. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what this game becomes, right? So how much you're willing to pay for a referral, right? What is marketing? Marketing, you're paying for a lead in some way, shape, or form. Time, money, you're paying for a lead. So how much you're willing to pay for a lead? Going back to lifetime value. If you understand your customer's lifetime value, you know how much you're willing to pay for that lead, right? So how much are you willing to pay for that lead? You know, $100 off. That's how much you're willing to pay for that lead is $100. Cool. $25 for a referral. That's how much you're willing to pay for a lead, right? How much you're willing to pay for a lead. So it's not just people in this room, it's people outside of this room as well, other contractors, other people, other services that you can partner with. So for you, it would be like, you do most of your work in Eagle. People love tech in their backyards. So who could you partner with that you could create a tech package?
Yeah, and another huge partner with us has a site is Blind Appeal.
There you go.
Ryan from Blind Appeal hands my name out all the time. All the time.
Make it a win-win, right? What makes you better? What makes you have more jobs or helps you have more jobs? It's having access to client lists or people that you wouldn't normally have access to, or you'd have to pay more for, or you have to go knock doors for, or. Instead of just being like, hey, Jeremy, this is who I am, this is what I got. What can we do?
Well, and the cool thing is, like with Blind Appeal, I sold 13 shades for them in August, and they paid me $700 per shade. And so I called all my old customers, like, hey, you guys want a shade? It's a new thing we're offering up. You know, I was like, anyone want a shade? And so I called literally 13 of my past customers. Those weren't even new builds. Those were all people I've built for the past 3 or 4 years. Like, actually, we were thinking about it. Well, I'll set it up. I'll coordinate it. I'll do all the estimating for you. I don't charge them anymore. If they call Blind Appeal on their own, it's the same price.
Yeah.
They're knocking their price down to give me $700 per shade.
Yep.
And so you call them, you call me. You don't have to. You can deal with them, or you can deal with me. You already like me. And so I told him I'm gonna quit my job and start working for him selling shades.
Let's not do that, but, right? So I want you guys to think about this, right? How can you partner with other contractors and create Grand Slam offers, right? Call them no-brainers, call them Grand Slams. How can you partner with people to just create the solution for not just your problem, for any additional problem that might come up that they're thinking about? So roofs, for example, what are some other problems they have?
Fascia, soffit,
Gutters,
gutters,
siding, paint.
windows,
Yeah.
pretty
But-
much anything.
Right.
Landscaping.
Exactly, right? And so now you're like, okay, instead of just being a roofing company, what else could we offer? Solar. Like, there's so many options for you. You just have to figure out, okay, who are my partners inside of here and how can I create this whole package that like just makes it a no-brainer? You can get financing for solar and roofs together.
Yeah, and get that really awesome tax credits, 30%.
Right. Yeah.
What I've realized is it's the hardest part and the most expensive part is getting that customer.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have that customer, it's really easy to keep them. You're going to provide a good service, and they want to do more business with you. So whether it's like a roof or expensive, they would like to figure out a way to do business with you,
Right.
because it was a great experience.
And they already know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
Like,
They
I don't
want
want.
to call somebody
No,
else.
they don't want to.
And even if it's a roof and they're asking about their HVAC, they would much rather go through you than trying to figure out somebody online that's going to come and do their HVAC.
Because that's scary, dealing
Yeah.
with people online.
Or people inside your house, or like we can go down the list, right? And even inside of some of the Facebook groups, the contractor Facebook groups that you guys are a part of, like it's really hard to find somebody that you can trust, because somebody answers up for something and you start seeing like, oh, you might not want to do business with that guy, or oh, be careful with this guy. I literally like, and you guys have seen I put messages out because I build lists of painters or lists of electricians or lists of whatever. I get private messaged all the time. Watch out for this guy. Be careful, don't do business with this guy. All these different things. Why? Because they have experience with them, right? So instead of having to deal with all that, I would rather just be like, hey, Kevin, who do you know for whatever? And I'm going to go.
Kevin, I'm gonna do it.
Exactly, because I trust Kevin, right? So they trust you. So how can I not take advantage of that trust, right? But how can you relay that trust into more business? All right, questions on any of this? Okay, so before we end, I want everybody to introduce yourself. Normally we do this at the beginning. I want to do it at the end because what I want you guys to do is before you leave tonight, meet with someone inside of this room that you can build some kind of package with, that you can do some kind of deal with, that you can somehow make an arrangement to get access to their people. Right? We're coming out with an app here by December 1st. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be awesome. But one of the things that I'm going to do to pour gasoline on the fire is I'm going to build relationships with Facebook group owners of contractors, and I'm going to pay them for every person that they refer over that downloads the app. It's a pretty easy way to grow, right? That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? So real quick, stand up, who you are, what you do.
I'm Tyler. I own Mountainside Plumbing. We do new construction homes, remodels, and full repipes.
Why are you looking at him, dude? You looked at me, then you looked at him. Wait, what did you say?
What? My name is Seth Jones. I'm with Jones Building Companies. We are a full-service remodeling contractor that specializes in windows and doors.
You want me to say the same thing?
Well, at least introduce yourself. I mean, some people don't know you guys are brothers.
What's that?
They're brothers.
Last time we did it, we're brothers. Last time we did it, one of us just handled it. So.
Yeah. 'Cause they're shy.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm Jeremy with the Twisted Roots Contracting. We specialize in outdoor spaces, so patio covers, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, and concrete work.
I'm Joey. First name Sebastian. I own MTI Contracting. We do a lot of remodel. So we try and focus on kitchen bath just because we're still kind of small, but we're trying to expand as much as we can.
Very cool.
My name is Ammon, and I am 16, and I do lawn care / landscaping.
Maintenance. You need to talk to that guy back there.
And Christmas lights, right?
Yeah, Christmas lights this year too.
Ryan Bluebird and Home Maintenance Services.
Kevin, I own Light Painting. We focus on high-end restoration, residential and commercial.
Julie Jensen, I have Lost River, just roofing, re-roofs, new construction, repairs, all of it.
We do it all.
I'm James, and I actually work for Julie as her foreman for Lost River Roofing.
Very cool. Thank you.
Name's Eric Bustos. I do flooring, all your hardwood surfaces, tile, ceramic tile, everything. We concentrate on commercial, residential
Installs?
installs.
Not cleaning and finishing, refinishing or anything like that.
Brandon, I own Resource Land Care, and within that company is Resource Landscape and Resource Concrete. So anything outdoors, pretty much.
In the back.
Yeah, actually, I know a handful of you guys. Sterling Crawford worked at the amazing Joe McKinnish, Newark University. Just going to bounce off what Garrett was saying earlier. But we have an affiliate program as well. What that means is we pay you 100% commission on any referrals that you give us for the first month of that member subscription. So you make upwards of $1,000 per referral. If you guys are sending people our way, if you want to know more, just check this out.
And what is it you guys do? Because some people here don't know. All right, Joel, answer. All right.
We're tag team.
I like it. I like it.
So we teach marketing and sales. So if you think customer acquisition, we're your guys. So you don't have to spend money with marketing companies that don't actually do anything for you.
And they're here for a reason. It's because that's who I refer everybody to. If you're at a point where you're just getting started, you're trying to figure out marketing, sales, and stuff like that, they are the guys that will help you with that. I do the big framework stuff, like the concepts that we talked about tonight. But if you're like specifically like, how do I have a conversation? Or how many people do I need to talk to? Or where should I go to do this, that, or whatever? they're the experts in that. So if you have any questions about that, I would definitely go speak with Sterling and Joe. But on that note, that is all we have for tonight.